All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Jackie Costello, and Jen Parlin and I both earned the trip to Bali through our fair trade company that we work for, Threads Worldwide. It's a fair trade direct sales jewelry company. And today we're going to talk about our recent trip to Bali, um, and how we empower women through our fair trade jewelry and create a world that works for everyone.
Yay!
So, Jen, do you want to just talk in general about how you felt about Bali, about going, and that kind of stuff?
Sure. Yeah. Um, well, first of all, I'm so glad that I went. It was awesome. I love to travel, so any opportunity that I get to go somewhere different is really something that I'm all about. So I'm all in. But earning the trip was kind of cool, just because you feel like, well, I earned the spot to go, so um, that's cool in itself. I mean, not everyone earns the trip, so. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's so many things that I'm sure we'll talk about in this conversation. But overall, it was such a great experience, and I feel like we could have stayed there a month and still not seen everything that we wanted to see. But we were there 10 days. So, and I spent a lot of time with you, Jackie, which was great. But what about you? I mean, overall, how are you feeling about the whole experience?
Yeah, the trip was amazing. I agree. I think it was so cool that we were able to earn the trip, that individually I had enough sales to be able to go and meet our artisans, because that just means that the impact I'm having, is growing and things like that. So that was really cool. But totally agree on what you said, that there was just not enough time. I think that there was definitely some things that I would have, um or that I still want to do. So,
Mm,
but the trip was amazing. The only thing was getting sick when I got back. That was a little rough ending to the trip, but overall
yeah,
it was awesome.
I can relate on some level there. I think there was a few of us that um, our stomachs just weren't uh, prepared for such a different, I don't know, cuisine, I would say. But it's just, I think it was just a combination of things, the travel and the different food, maybe the water somehow got in the mix there, because you never know if they're washing their vegetables or fruits in the water that we shouldn't really be drinking. So totally can relate to that. But it's worth it anyway. It's worth it for a little stomach ache.
Yeah, I don't want to like taint the trip, but I mean, I was sick like 2 full weeks when we got back, and I think I definitely had a parasite or something. But again, totally worth it. I would still go back. Maybe just be a little bit more careful with what I was eating or drinking. But
Yeah,
anyway,
totally. I think it's good though that we're talking about things that, that aren't so pleasant about traveling and about being in developing countries, because we can just say, "Oh, it was amazing and we had such a good time," and talk about all the fun things we did, but there are also other parts to it as well that we, you know, should talk
yeah, I totally agree. It's kind of like the Instagram post I put up about the garbage that we saw. Do you remember
about.
the village that we went to? That's
Yeah.
where that picture was from. But I was kind of saying, like, yeah, it's amazing. Like, Bali's gorgeous and beautiful, and it's a beautiful place. But on the other side of it is just mounds of trash. We were swimming on in at the beach, like through trash, basically. And then that picture I posted was just like a dump at one of the villages, basically. And there's both sides of the coin, I think. So I think it's something that needs to be spoken about as well, because when people post pictures of Bali, they only post the beautiful things that they see, and you're not really looking at the other side of it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's still obviously a lot of poverty, um, in Bali as well. I mean, so that's something to talk about. And yeah, the kind of ugly side of such a beautiful place.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's kind of crazy. They're so into sustainability and using bamboo straws and ubud and, things like that. But then, the flip side of seeing that too is just like the mounds and mounds of trash, and it's just kind of crazy seeing both sides of it, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. So what do you think your favorite part of the trip was about being in Bali?
Hmm. I think I think my favorite part was meeting Karawati and seeing her workshop, and it was the whole reason why we were there. Um, we met other artisans in the same cooperative, and that was amazing. We had a dance party with them. It was so much fun, but really, Karawati is the reason that we got to earn the trip. Selling Bali pieces and silver pieces and everything. So I think that was just really, really impactful
Yeah.
and and just motivating, like we were in her home, and we got to see so much. So I think that was really impactful. What about you? Your favorite part?
My favorite part, I mean, I'll definitely agree. I wrote a post recently on Instagram that said, I think that meeting the artisans was that whole day was probably my favorite of 2019 so far. I mean, it was just such a great day. We did so many things, from being at the actual main office of the cooperative to meeting all the artisans that work there and having lunch with them, and then traveling to Karawati's village and seeing where she lives, and where she works, and her adopted daughter and her husband. It was just such a great experience. Yeah, and it really does connect the work that we're doing like directly, and we know who we're impacting, and we know who our partner is. And these are some of my favorite pieces that we sell with threads. I just love all the sterling silver pieces. So now I'm gonna be able to sell them even more and talk about them more, and just connect people directly with my experience of meeting her. So yeah, I agree. I mean, that was definitely my favorite part of the trip. But just also just being part of or seeing it's such a different culture, with the food and the language. And these people are so amazing in that they're so devoted, like, to their beliefs and their religion. And everywhere we walked, we saw the little offering bowls with the flowers, and they're so devoted and connected to what they believe. And it's kind of refreshing to see that. It just kind of brings me back to my own life, and what are my beliefs, and what am I committed to. And it could be little daily rituals. It doesn't have to mean religion necessarily. It can, but it was a really amazing to see. It took me by surprise. I guess I wasn't expecting that full on, offerings everywhere. You couldn't even walk into a store without, you have to step over their offerings to the gods. It was just really cool.
Yeah, I love that. It's such a good point. We're not used to that here in the United States. We have a lot of different religions, and I think that's great and beautiful in its own way, but where everyone is doing the same thing and having the same ritual, and bringing these offerings every day, like you said, where you have to step over them or accidentally step on them.
Right.
I think it was when we went to that wine shop. I like jumped out of the van and stepped on it by accident, but um but what was your least favorite part about Bali?
Off the top of my head right now, the one thing that stands out was just how hot and sweaty it was all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
I just like I took a shower and then I left my air conditioned room and I was completely just sticky and sweaty, and I guess gave up. I just kind of like surrendered to the sweatiness and the frizzy curly hair that I don't normally have. So I know that's pretty maybe something silly to say or to talk about, but it definitely was a different climate. And I mean, we felt it as soon as we got off the plane. It was like, hit us, boom.
Yeah, humidity, boom.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, I think just the amount of time it took us to get there was a little challenging, and even more challenging when we came back.
Yeah, the jet lag. Yeah.
The jet lag, the adjustment, just all that. But I don't know. I can't really think of something that stands out for me as far as, that's something wasn't really a fan of.
I think that's a good thing.
I know, right? Let me think about it for a while. Get back to you. What about you? Did you have something?
No, I think just I would have switched how we traveled. Like I would have had Jimmy and I go on the tail end of the trip and travel by ourselves, because or if you guys wanted to do that too, but I think just for me, sorry, there's a plane flying by. I think for me, there's just 16 people is like overwhelming, and it's tough for me to be around that big group. And then it would have been nice to flip how we did the trip and then just had like a calming relaxation and, just, Jimmy and I or a few of us afterwards. I think that would have been a little bit better. But overall, like I said, the trip was just absolutely amazing. I would have tried to go to Nusa Penida too, because we didn't quite make it there, but
yeah, there's definitely a lot of places we didn't get to see.
Yeah.
But I do like kind of staying in one spot for a little bit longer so you can kind of relax and enjoy where you are.
Yeah, it's tough, like packing and repacking, unpacking, like so many times, So I agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else that you would change about the trip?
I would stay longer if I could.
Yeah, totally.
10 days isn't quite enough. I would say at least 2 weeks, if not 3. I mean, that's what I think.
Yeah, it's just not enough time, especially when you're traveling so far. I still don't know how the other group did it, or the rest of our group rather, how they did such a short trip.
Yeah, I don't either. I'd like to find out how they're feeling still.
Yeah. We should be asking them these questions. What would you change?
Right, exactly.
So where do you want to jump to next?
I don't know. Do you have any?
Well, I guess, well, let's just head back to the beginning. We're kind of jumping around, but how did you get involved with Threads Worldwide?
So I had moved to Denver about 3 years ago, and I knew no one at the time. And I kind of just stumbled upon it. I was at an event, a women's centered event, and my goal was just to get out and meet people. And there was someone there with Threads Jewelry who is now a good friend of mine. Her name was Taryn Schroeder. And I loved the jewelry, and I started to hear a little bit about, the story behind it. And I bought a pair of earrings, and then Taryn spoke in front of the room of women and talked about what Threads was up to and asked if there was anyone interested in being involved. And I said, yeah. I didn't even know what I was saying yes to. I just said yes. I was like, yes. And
yes, I need friends.
Need it. So yeah, I didn't realize really what I was signing up for, but I mean, fast forward 3 years and here I still am, and I love every minute of it. And if anyone told me I would be doing jewelry showcases in people's homes, I would have said, yeah, okay. No, I can't do that. But it really was an amazing decision that I made by saying yes, because I got to meet tons of people. It really kind of forced me to go out and meet people, because I really didn't know anyone. And that's kind of started how I started building my business within Threads. And
That's pretty amazing
yeah,
that you're able to go on these trips and everything when you didn't know anyone in Denver. You started at a point when you knew no one. So that's really cool.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It is
So
kind
when people are like, oh, I can't do that, I don't have any friends, or what have you, it's kind of like, well, Jen Parlin did it, so I think you can do it too.
yeah, I feel like a lot of people have that excuse about just any kind of business.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know enough people, or, I don't know how to do it, that kind of thing. I think that's probably the most common, excuse that people have, or worry when they're starting a business in general, whatever business it is, right? Like, how am I going to get customers? Like, how are people going to hear about me? Like, I can't do this. This is all these different things that we hear. But yeah, so when people say that to me, I'm like, no, you can, if you want to. I mean, that's really what it takes. You have to make a decision, and then you just go out there and meet people and talk to people.
Yeah, like you said, if this is something that you want, it's doable, and with any business really, if you have the courage to go after it.
Yeah. I mean, is that kind of how you feel about your business, Golden Rule?
Yeah, I mean, I am kind of at this weird standstill right now. Not a standstill, I guess, decisive moment, because we're talking about doing a retail space, and really, is it a good fit? Is retail dead? Just kind of going back and forth on all of it. But in my head, it's kind of like, well, if I do this, I can figure it out, kind of thing. And that's kind of how I felt from day one with the Golden Rule. Is yeah, if I don't do it, no one else will, and I can figure it out as I go along.
Yeah. I think it would be really cool. I mean, it's kind of fun to have something tangible. An online store is great for so many reasons, but to walk in and have this experience, and, and when it all revolves around fair trade and ethical fashion, it's just, I love it. I love the idea. So I hope that you open it so I can come visit you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, maybe. Fingers crossed it all works out. Um,
Right.
what was I going to ask next? Have you been on another trip with Threads? You have been
I
to
have.
Ecuador?
I did go to Ecuador. Yeah, that was the first trip that I earned with Threads. And that was amazing as well. And it was just a totally different feeling than Bali. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if I can put it into words exactly. We definitely were a smaller group. I think there was 8 of us total.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, but it also felt a little more rushed. We were running around a lot. We did spend, a day with our artisans as well. And we sat down with them and made a bracelet and a necklace.
Oh, awesome.
Really cool. Yeah, and it was great to see all the different materials that they used, and to see the tagua seed, which we, talk about a lot at Threads, is a seed that, they make these beautiful beads out of, that we've had in our line for a long time. But just to see that, how they do that, and how they drill the little holes to string the beads, it was really cool. and to see their homes as well. We visited two of the artisans, are sisters, and we visited their home and got to see, because of the work at the cooperative, they were able to build this whole new structure on their property, put in a really nice, like, modern kitchen, and they started a little business out of their home as well, where they will bring tourists in and teach them how to cook
Oh, wow.
traditional, Ecuador food. So that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's really cool. So was there more time on that trip with the artisans than we had in Bali?
No, it was just different. I think, I guess we traveled a little bit that day when we were in Bali. We saw some different things. But yeah, it was more like we spent more time just directly with them at the workshop, because there really wasn't anywhere to travel to. They were all there.
Oh, okay.
All the materials were there. Most of them work there at the workshop. And then we went to their home later in the evening for like a cooking experience with them. So we actually got to cook with them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Is this where you had guinea pig?
Yes, this is where we had kui, they call it, which is guinea pig. We all tried it. I mean, I tried the smallest amount possible. Just to say that I did. I did it.
Kind of like what you did with durian.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was the worst thing I've ever eaten.
For our listeners that don't know, durian is what they call stinky fruit I don't know where else it is, but it's in Bali and Thailand, and I'm not sure where else, but it's pretty gross. We had a couple of people on the group that actually really liked it, but we were not one of them.
No, it was horrible. I mean, if you're just walking down the street and you're passing, a little fruit stand, which there were 100 of them, like within a mile, I swear, everyone had our little fruit stand. You will not go without fruit when you go to Bali.
Oh, I miss
And
mangoes.
there's some really great fruits. Yeah, mangosteen. We were a huge fans of mango. But yeah, you can just smell the stinky fruit walking down the street. It doesn't even have to be cut open. It's
so gross.
It's so gross. We're probably offending somebody. It's probably their favorite.
Yeah, maybe we should just stop. But kind of like what you were talking about in Ecuador, they used I don't know if it's a fair trade premium or they vote on what to do with some of the money that they're earning, and they're making a space to come and do the cooking. But in Bali, they had like a farm that they were. Can you talk a little bit about that? I think that I'm a little rough on the details. If you could help me out with that.
I hope I can help you out. So the plantation, that's what you're referring to, right? The farm / plantation.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I know the correct wording for it, but they have this program within the cooperative that they, it's kind of like, I want to say it's almost like microloans, where they'll partner with farmers that are in danger of losing their land for whatever reason, financial reasons. And instead of losing their land because they're not able to make payments, they'll partner with a cooperative. And I don't know the exact details financially, but the cooperative will use part of the land to grow trees that they make, some of their crafts out of. And they make these gorgeous wooden bowls and spoons and, numerous other things. But their work is amazing.
Boards and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Did you bought a couple bowls, right?
I did. I bought 4 little wooden bowls, and I've already used them. They're really fun. And I love using them because it just brings me right back, to that whole experience. And yeah, so it's really cool. It's a really cool purchase. I'm really excited about it. But anyway, yeah, so they grow trees and they use them for the handicrafts that they make, but also they help repay what wasn't paid on the land, I guess, so that the farmers can keep their lands, because it's a really big thing to keep your land. And when when you have that for your family, it's sacred to them. So that's something that the cooperative does, which I think is just so cool. I mean, of everything that we know about fair trade and what we're doing with the cooperatives, it's so exciting to see that they're doing even more, that we didn't even know about this stuff. So it's like, wow, this just being a part of this, really does support what they're doing with keeping land in people's families. Like, it's just really cool. And did you see those trees that take 5 years to grow? And
Oh, and they're so tall. Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, what were they, like 100 feet? I'm not really good at measurements, but
Yeah.
they were large trees, like very tall, and he said they're fast growing. And then he said 5 years, the gentleman who was taking us around, he said 5 years it takes to grow that tall. I was
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah. And what's really cool is that, I mean, all of that is so cool. But I think also that they're then using those trees for the wooden bowls. So like, it's just like, I don't know, it just seems like it's full circle. Like, they're helping these farmers, but then they're using that for the bowls and the spatulas and, and everything else. But I don't know, it just seems like such a good way to take care of their people. So I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. It's just really awesome. So was there any part of the trip where you got some kind of special insight, or like a light bulb went off from anything?
um I think I'm gonna go back to visiting Karawati for this one because um the Golden Rule has been in business for 3 years and we haven't met any of our artisans. So that was huge in itself. But then also, I used her bathroom, and her bathroom is just a hole in the ground and with two places for feet next to it. And I think it's very much a cultural thing. Like that's what is I that's just how they have toilets in the home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it just kind of got me thinking, like, okay, she has been working at this fair trade cooperative for 4 years, and this is what her toilet looks like. And I couldn't help but thinking, like, there was no toilet paper in there. I couldn't help but thinking, sorry, there's dogs in the background, and a siren. But I couldn't help but thinking, like, okay, what is she doing? You know, when she has to poop? What is she doing when she has her period, or whatever, anything else? So it just kind of got me thinking. And then it's like, okay, this is I think I said this already, this is somebody that's been working at a fair trade cooperative for 4 years. What does someone's house look like that hasn't been working in a fair trade cooperative, that doesn't work in a fair trade cooperative? So it's just it was just really interesting to me. And I think I have to take a step back and be like, this is part of their culture and things like that. But the things we take for granted, a toilet we can sit on,
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think it's so important for people to get out there and travel and go to places that are still developing, because it's a completely different experience than going to Paris.
Oh my God. Yeah. Going to Paris, going to Italy, going to Germany, any of that, it's very, very different than that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, absolutely.
and it's still beautiful. It's not, it's not that you're not going to see beautiful things. You're going to meet beautiful, amazing people and, see beautiful places. But there also is the other side of it too,
Yeah. definitely. But I think it's equally as important to see that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, I 100% agree. I think more people should be traveling and, seeing the world and experiencing how the rest of the world lives.
Hmm. Yeah, that goes back to like what you and I have been talking about, Jackie, about how we're all connected. I mean, we really are, whether you want to believe it or not.
Yeah.
What we do here impacts people around the world, our daily actions.
Yeah. And that's exactly what we want to start this podcast, to spread awareness on that, like the way we shop influences people all the way across the world. It affects their livelihood, and it's just not something the majority of the world is thinking about. And I hope that we can spread that message a little bit more.
Yeah, I think if we are connecting people, like, specifically like connecting Karawati with some people here, by this podcast or just in our conversations, it'll really just create change. I mean, slowly, but that's how change is created.
Yep, absolutely. Chipping away at it.
Yeah, I'm really excited that we're doing this, and we have some really awesome people on our list that we're going to be talking to and sharing with everyone. So we're going to have a lot of tips and I guess, what's the word? If you're wondering like how to create change in your life and be a part of, this whole movement of ethical fashion and more sustainable lifestyle, I mean, we're going to have a lot of information for you just by introducing you to people that we know and know of, and brands that we love. So you'll have a lot of options as far as where to shop and little changes to make.
Yeah, it's so exciting. Um, but back to you, Jen. What was your big light bulb moment or something that sparked some change in you when we were in Bali?
Oh, geez. I learned some things about myself that um, how uncomfortable I get with things, and sometimes I have like I think that I'm really easygoing, but sometimes I'm just like, oh my god, like little things bother me. Like I'm worried about my feet getting dirty, and I start like worrying about crazy things, about getting sick and getting a disease from this and that. It's just like wow, I don't even realize that I am living like that. But it's just funny the things you notice about yourself, um, when you're traveling or
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
And another point, just why we should all be traveling more,
yes,
to learn about ourselves. We're not just learning about the world and other people's culture and things like that, but we're really learning about ourselves and how we can deal with change and be flexible, and, how we are in new experiences and novel activities.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm glad that I have the self-awareness to recognize things.
Yeah. Because not
I'm
everyone does,
thankful
that's
for
for sure. Yeah.
that. It's so true. So, what are you thinking about? Obviously, there's another trip coming up next year. We
Yeah.
are going to Guatemala. And have you been to Guatemala before?
No, I haven't, but I really want to go. How about you? Have you been?
Yeah. No, I've never been. Nope. But I'm pretty sure that I'll be going on this trip.
I'm not quite where I need to be, but I definitely want to go. Can you talk a little bit about Wakami for any of our listeners that might want to learn about the organization that we would be visiting?
Sure. So Wakami is probably our biggest partnership at Threads. I mean, they make the majority of our bracelets. And they're just a really amazing, large cooperative that we work with. And we had the honor of having the woman who started it visit us. And I'm hoping she'll be on our podcast at some point. She's really awesome. So, yeah, if you want to look up Wakami, there's a lot of information about them, but I believe they have about 500 artisans working with them right now. And they're really just, they're really empowering women, which I feel like in that community, they're seeing so many women are kind of claiming their power back, because it's, you know, it's such like a different culture. Women aren't allowed to work for the most part. And just by being a part of this cooperative, these women are becoming leaders in their communities, and they're having, you know, a voice for the first time. And it's really exciting, just like the stuff that I've seen from here. You know, I'm seeing it firsthand is going to be a totally different experience, I'm sure. But hearing the stories, our founders at Threads have visited Guatemala quite a bit. It's, you know, Kara, it's her favorite place right now. So I'm looking forward to experiencing that. So we need to be there.
Yeah. 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 And I think that Maria, you know, plans a lot for us when we visit, which will be really cool. Just to be engrossed in the daily life of the artisans and what they're doing. You know, we had one day with artisans in Bali, but it's kind of like why we're there. And, you know, I was craving a little bit more. So that will definitely be really cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Absolutely. All right, Jackie. Well, I think I want to know if you're going back to Bali, and can I come with you?
I would definitely go back to Bali. It's just, you know, there's so many other places I want to visit first. Jimmy's like, I want to go back now. You know, he's like, we didn't do enough. He's ready to go back. But for me, I think that, you know, there's just a lot of other places that I want to go to until we head back there. I think, you know, like
I
it's just
agree.
so much to
Yeah.
do.
It could be part of like a world tour, you know, when we pass through that area, we just stop in again.
Yeah, just go to Nusa Penida. I think that would give me enough, and then hop on the plane to somewhere else in Southeast Asia, or maybe on my way to Australia. I'm not sure.
Yeah, what is your top place that you'd like to visit right now?
I think I was telling you on the trip that I really would love to go to Greece. I've never been, but honestly, any of the places in the world that I haven't been are pretty high up on the list. I just want to go everywhere.
So your list is long.
No, it's pretty long. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think I counted a while ago, like 16 different countries, but you know, it's just never enough. You always want more.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go next?
I actually would like to go to Thailand. I mean, I love Thai food, so that's one. That's my only reason. No.
Yeah, Thailand's amazing. I would go back there too. We had such an amazing honeymoon there. It was awesome.
Perfect.
All right, so I want to go back to a couple more fair trade questions, and then we can wrap it up. I know we've been talking about fair trade this whole time, but what is like the definition and a fair trade mean to you?
Well, there are 8 principles. Is that what it is? Of fair trade?
Aren't there 10?
Okay, there are 10. That's why I'm with Jackie. She can answer all the details. I'm not super detail oriented. I mean, honestly, the definition of it keeps growing for me as I learn more, because I feel like I'm still at the very beginning stages of really understanding it. But I mean, for me, it's fair trade symbolizes that um, this product is being made fairly, and the artisans, or the people that are making the product, are actually getting paid a fair wage where they can support their families and live good lives, have access to health care, all of those things that most of us take for granted. And they have good working conditions, safe working conditions, and yeah, I don't know what else to talk about. Those are the things that really just stand out to me. But
Hmm.
there's so many. Is there something else that I'm forgetting that's really obvious, or that
No,
meaningful
no,
to you?
that's the general definition, of course. But what does it mean to you? Like, why are you so moved by it?
I mean, I guess I first I watched a documentary called The True Cost, which I'm pretty sure you're familiar with. But for people that are listening to this right now and they've never seen The True Cost, I would say go out and watch it, because it's very eye-opening. And um, it's like once you see what's going on, you can't unsee it. And it really, between that and a few other things and the work that we're doing with threads, I changed my buying habits completely, especially when it comes to, clothing, accessories, um, jewelry, all that stuff. I really am conscious of, who I'm buying from, because I want to know that it's being made ethically, because I
Mhm.
don't want to support slave labor. And, that feeds into sex trafficking and just all these things that are happening around the world, that we are really connected to when we shop. So I want to be part of the change, the positive change, instead of supporting what's already in place that is not working, that is exploiting people. So that's, to me, that's what fair trade is. It's knowing that I'm making a difference with my money,
Yeah.
and then I'm spending money anyway. Why support the dark side of this just because I can get a shirt for $10 or whatever it is? It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm buying a shirt for $10, but you know, supporting companies that I know are doing good work. That's just really, really important to me.
Yep. 100%. So cool. Yeah, I love hearing, from people involved with fair trade and that are either working in it or a business owner or what have you, that I love hearing what keeps them motivated and you know why they're involved and things like that, because we all have a reason. And I think Threads Worldwide does a really good job of trying to have us dig deeper into our why. um so 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 like I said, I just think it's awesome hearing from people about that. um, where do you buy your fair trade products besides Threads Worldwide and the Golden Rule, of course?
Right. Well, I do a lot of secondhand shopping
Hmm.
these days, consignment stores, um, just supporting things that are already made, and instead of throwing them away, I find a lot of value in buying secondhand. But I also, Packed Organic is one of my favorite places to shop. Um, and gosh, I don't know at the top of my head right now. Incas for my
Oh
shoes.
yeah, love
Yeah,
Incas.
I love Incas. Um, there's a few other companies that I'm blanking on right now. We'll be putting a list together for you. So, what about you? I mean, I know you're familiar with so many brands because you carry them in your store, or you're looking at them for your store.
Yeah. we just started shopping with Crochet Kids again. They are changing their name to Known Supply, but they are fair trade members now. And when I was shopping with them, 3 years ago when I first started, we were shopping with them, and then all of a sudden they kind of said, "Oh, we're not going to go for our fair trade membership." So I stopped shopping from them, and they reached out to me again recently saying that they had it. And it was I think it was just a miscommunication from somebody who didn't really know. But I'm happy to be shopping with them again. That they have really nice, comfortable clothing, everyday wear. And then one of my other favorite companies is Symbology.
Mm.
And they're just beautiful, beautiful block printed clothing from India. And it's a little bit more, I wouldn't say like high fashion, but it's not as casual as like Crochet Kids. Some of the stuff you could wear, to a wedding or a cocktail party, other stuff to dinner or things like that. Not so much everyday wear, but I just think they're so gorgeous and I love them. And Marissa is the owner, and we haven't set up an interview yet, but she said that she would love to come on the podcast. So I'm excited about that too.
Yay, that's great.
Yeah.
Perfect. I can't wait for everything that we have in store.
I know, I'm really excited. And even doing these podcasts, like this is our second episode we've done. It'll air first, but I just get more pumped up about it and more excited about it when we do an episode. So it's really cool.
Me too. Yay. Is there anything else that you want to touch upon?
No, I think we touched a lot of different pieces of Bali, and we can always touch back in future episodes when we're reaching out to other people. And I think it's really exciting what we have in store, and big things to come.
Big things to come. All right, Jackie. Okay, so we can edit out whatever.
You just stop it.